we now for some reason we don't know what we don't know is why this particular transfer window it's all suddenly got much worse than it's ever been, even under Peter Lawwell, who had an ego-driven need to be the centre of attention, to be the unofficial director of football, to stick his oar in into everything that was done in the football operations world. We're not in that world anymore, and yet we're somehow in a worse place than we've ever been. We've got absolute paralysis, and in football, a day is a long time. Never mind a week. And if you're standing still, if you're not progressing, you're not you know, actively managing your footballer's trading model, you're slipping behind. You're slipping behind every day that you're not on it. Every day you're not refreshing your squad. Every day you're not selling the players you should be selling. Because I'll tell you what, one of the things that doesn't get spoken about is it's not just about all the players that we've not replaced. It's not just about all the deals that we haven't done. There's players in that squad that we should have sold by now,
Absolutely.
right? And nobody wants to hear this because actually, if we sold them now, it would be devastating and it would be absolute carnage. But Carter Vickers, Hitate, Maeda, the age they're at, and their previous performance, and the probability of probably not reaching that performance again, we should have sold these players, right? We should have found a way to encourage them to, take that last big payday and what have you. Celtic get a big fee. We bring in the next 22-year-old,
Mhm.
21-year-old replacement, you know, probably costing quite a bit of money. But again, and that's how you grow the football club. And we've not done that either. So it's not just about the very obvious disasters of not replacing players, not getting deals done. It's that we haven't managed. We're ending up edging towards having an old squad
Yeah.
that is getting worse in terms of, and we're losing the resale value as well. So it's a complete mess of squad mismanagement. Um, and where we are, this paralysis that seems to have probably taken 25 years in the making, if we're honest, and is now very much in front of us. And we don't know what's changed in that environment, but we know that the main person behind it. We are now, and I hate to say this, we are now in the same position as Newcastle United got into under Mike Ashley. Mike Ashley, Tottenham Hotspur fan, hoovered up every single, sportswear, sports equipment firm in the world, brought them under one umbrella, opened huge barns, made billions and millions. Bought Newcastle United. He may have had some notions that this was going to be a bit of a laugh for him and his mates on a Saturday to own a football club, watch Premier League football, and all that. Again, quickly realised that this is an expensive business. And if you were to actually want to win things, you have to spend an awful lot of money. If you wanted to compete with Manchester United and Chelsea and Arsenal and Liverpool and Man City, you're going to have to spend an awful lot of money to break into that cabal. But the risk of dropping out the league is far greater than the probability of getting into that top six. And if you get relegated, you're not only is your asset value gone down considerably, yeah, you're suddenly losing an awful lot of money that you as the owner are on the hook for. So Mike Ashley ended up in a place with Newcastle where they were never going to get relegated, and they were never going to get into the top six, not even the top six. It was the top eight because actually he worked out, same as we've seen in Scotland, that if you get into the Europa League, you lose money. So why do we want to do that? Oh, and by the way, these cups, like the League Cup and the FA Cup, what a distraction they are. If we put all our efforts into that, we might lose the next league game, and if we lose the next league game, we might get relegated. So let's not bother with them either. So Newcastle ended up in this purgatory, this absolute purgatory for their fans, of having this owner who all he wanted to do was keep the club in the Premier League and not win anything, not even challenge for anything, and not get into Europe because to get into the Champions League is too expensive and it's going to cost me too much money. So they ended up in this purgatory, and this is where Celtic are. We're not in the same situation, but we're in the same ring of purgatory for a different reason, where we've got an owner who, for whatever reason, and it shouldn't be an owner. I'm calling him the owner because that's de facto how it's behaving.
That's how he sees
But
himself, I think. Yeah.
you know, he knows better than everybody else because he's made money, all this money in his life, and he thinks that he's better at deals and he's better at everything, and he's cleverer than you because, and he don't give a shit what you think anyway, even if it were a conversation to be had. We're now being held in this holding pattern for God knows what reason. I don't know. We're not spending money. We're not managing. We're not seeing what it takes to manage a squad properly, which takes. It would be painful to sell a car to Vickers, for example. It would hurt all of us. We'd all be a bit sad about it. But it's from both a business sense and a football development sense, it would be the right thing to do. No one's making these decisions. Nobody in the organisation feels authorised to stand up and say, well, actually, even from a legal perspective, you're kind of riding roughshod over probably the Articles of Association, the way that private, public listed companies are supposed to behave. This guy isn't even has got no executive authority at all, right? And I'm sure there must be some legal recourse here that if some clever people wanted who know corporate law might want to have a look at, is this the way that you're supposed to run a company? I'm pretty sure it's not. And are these people who are in these roles, chief executive, chief finance officer, chief risk officer, whatever, are they actually doing their jobs? Because if they're not standing up for all the shareholders, they're not doing the jobs. And if they're not behaving in a way that best progresses the aims of the company, they're not doing the jobs. So this is the situation we're in now. We are, we are like Mike Ashley. We've got someone with an iron grip that the only way that iron grip is going to get released is, if something terrible happens or somebody comes along with an enormous check. And look what happened to Newcastle. Look who owns them now. So we have to be very careful what we wish for here. But we are in an absolute bind here, uh, in terms of trying to be the football club we all want it to be. And we're stuck in this paralysis, and I don't know why, and I don't know how we get out of it. And here we are.